Today on First Century Foundations, I embark on an exciting quest to find the oldest portion of Torah in existence. I learn how to shoot an Israeli gun, and Karen visits with Claude Ezagouri of Morningstar Fellowship to learn what Jesus is doing in Israel today. That's all coming up right now. Hey everybody, I'm Joe Amaral.
And I'm Karen Amaral.
And welcome to First Century Foundations. In this season, we are learning about the culture of Jesus.
One of the most important features of the first century culture was the Torah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in Matthew 5, verses 17 through 20, Jesus says, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Therefore, anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven."
I mean, ouch, that is quite the verse. I travel a lot, I go into a lot of churches, and people are generally really good about learning, the Hebraic roots, and they're pretty good about accepting it as is. But when it comes to the Sabbath, when it comes to the food laws, to the Torah, people really, they start to wonder,
It's a little iffy.
Yeah, it's a little iffy. And so, we got to remember the Torah was so central, so important to Jesus in his time, and even now here in Israel. And one thing that we learned in preparing for the trip was, remember that every Hebrew word comes from 3 root letters.
3 root letters, yeah.
Yeah, and so we're talking about the word Torah, which the root word itself is yara, and the 3 letters for that is yod, resh, and hey, which mean to shoot or to aim in a particular direction.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, interesting. It just shows us, I don't know, to me, it's just so amazing how God's word is, that we can always trace it back, to the roots, the Hebraic roots. And because the Torah was so important to Jesus and his culture, I mean, I'm so excited that on today's show, we're going to go and explore and look for and hunt down the oldest existing Torah portion in the world. I mean, that's mind-blowing. I'm so excited.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. Oh. And today I'm going to visit Morningstar Fellowship in Tiberias, where we're going to learn about that community that's helping those around them to find their way.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to learn about what God did in the past and how he operated, and I'm so blessed that you get to go see the ministries today, and so
find out what God's doing today.
Exactly. We're going, from the dead stones to the living stones. And I mean, and if Torah means to aim or to shoot, then man, on today's episode, we are taking that to a whole new level. Well, Boker Tov, hi. My search for the oldest portion of Torah brings me to the Menachem Begin Museum in Jerusalem, where I meet historian and Rabbi Ken Spiro.
Absolutely. I hear you're looking for some ancient Hebrew texts, so I got just the spot for you.
All right, please lead the way. When I was in Bible school, I was taught that the Dead Sea Scrolls contain the oldest portions of the Torah, and until really recently, that's what I thought. But then in preparing to come on this trip, I learned that there was an even older remnant of the Torah, and I think that was found here in this place.
Exactly, right here.
What can you tell us? Could we go down here,
Sure,
Rabbi?
Sure.
And maybe see one of the places where potentially it was found, and just tell us about what we're seeing here. Where are we?
So the Dead Sea Scrolls goes about 2,200 years. It contains pretty much bits of all the Hebrew Bible. This site is dated to around the year 600, which would make it about 400 years older than the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Wow, that's significant.
Very much so. And really in this place was found, and most archaeologists agree, one of the top, I would say for sure, top 10 most significant artifacts found related to the Hebrew Bible was found in this site over here.
It was a tomb that they found.
Right.
What
archaeologists have found around the hills here are multiple First Temple period tombs used by wealthy families for many generations. They believe that this specific tomb site was used for several hundred years during the late First Temple period.
Okay, but there was something, because we're hunting for the world's oldest portion of the Torah, And all our research led us here because they found something incredibly significant, didn't they? And what would that be?
So the person who found it was Gabi Barkai, who today is at Bar Ilan University and is a lecturer there. But during the period of time when he was excavating here, we're talking about 79, he was working for Tel Aviv University. And he excavated this site. He started digging below the church, St. Andrew's you see above us over here, into the site over here with his team of diggers. And what they found was this site, which they uncovered, this entire area, all the tombs here, his archaeological project that he did over, I believe, 2 seasons. They found undisturbed a burial chamber in which they found over 1,000 items.
Wow. He hit the
including
jackpot.
including 2 small silver amulets, and you just can't unroll them. Obviously, it's not, if they'd been paper, it would not have survived. It took them, I think, years to actually unroll them. I know that this was discovered in 79, but not until the early 80s did it reveal what was said on them, because I think it took a very long time, and they actually developed the process of being able to very carefully unroll this silver amulet. And what they found on the 2 amulets were inscriptions. Much of it is illegible. By the way, if you've seen it, you can see images on the internet. You can see, and we'll see the actual amulets at the Israel Museum. It's in Paleo-Hebraic script.
So we know it was found here. Now, you've already said it's at the Israel Museum. Do you think we have time to slip over there and take a look?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, guys, let's go to the Israel Museum and let's see the oldest portion of the Torah. You know what, Rabbi, it was really cool to see where we found the scroll, but now I'm excited to see, what we found.
Right. And
That's it.
Yeah. All the best stuff ends up in the Israel Museum. Obviously, they never leave the antiquities in the site. When you find something as significant as this, you're going to want to display it here. So here you could see, opened up, the 2 silver amulets.
That you're talking about, they took much time and care to open.
Right. Well, they're not 100% intact. Notice, by the way, you can see that they put the actual original Proto-Hebraic script there. If you can, we talked about that, the alphabet that was used in the First Temple period. If you compare even to what's up here, you can see the translation. The text is slightly different on each, but they both contain that priestly blessing from Numbers chapter 6, 24 to 26. And of course, the other significant thing is the use of the 4-letter name of God, which is called the Tetragrammaton. That Yud-He, Vav-He name that we don't even pronounce.
So this is the oldest written form of the name of God.
Exactly. We see it used anywhere outside the text of the Bible.
So this here, does this relate back to the site where they found the scrolls?
Absolutely. What they've done here is recreated, basically, and this gives us a much better sense of what we saw.
Yeah.
But here you can see a recreation of one of the actual burial chambers.
So what do you think arrowheads are doing, like in a First Temple period tomb? Doesn't seem to fit with jewelry and pottery.
Right. So the jewelry makes sense. People were buried with it, an amulet that someone had on their body. But the arrowheads, and they're Babylonian arrowheads, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we know this tomb, that inscription was dated to around 50 years prior to the destruction, late First Temple period, prior to the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem. And we know from what was found inside the tomb that it was actually used even post-destruction. And when the archaeologists took out the human remains, they noticed that, first of all, there was a large number of people buried at approximately the same time. Based on the pathology, there was many young men. And it could well be that these were victims of the fighting. There were soldiers defending Jerusalem, or even civilians. And we know after the almost 3-year siege described in the book of Jeremiah, when the city actually fell, there was a tremendous slaughter. So probably following the fall of the city, there was massive burial of all the victims, and they dumped many, many people in here. And the arrowheads actually were almost certainly embedded in people's bodies, that they were killed by Babylonian archers. And of course, when the flesh is gone after a year, all you can have is the bones and the arrowheads themselves. So what's so amazing about this is not only do we have this incredible inscription connected to the Bible in God's name,
which is awesome,
but it seems to be, given the time period, it's literally a moment of a very dramatic and tragic moment of Jewish history, the destruction of the First Temple, actually like physical remains left right in this tomb.
So do you think that this amulet that has the oldest recorded version of the name of God on it, do you think that one of these soldiers could have been wearing that necklace? Is that possible?
It is possible. I mean, it's dated, the amulet's dated to a few decades before that, but you're dealing with ancient dates. There's a tremendous range. So it is possible that one or both of the amulets could have been worn by the defenders, or it's also possible they're worn by family members who died of natural causes decades before the destruction of the First Temple.
Again, for you guys watching, I hope that you have enjoyed this quest we've been on to find one of the oldest portions of the Torah scroll with the name of God in it. And thank you so much, Rabbi, for taking us.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it, man.
Right.
After personally seeing the Silver Scrolls, I had a surprise encounter with Dr. Gabriel Barkai, the archaeologist who actually made the discovery back in 1979.
What's awesome is we just happened to meet you here, and you found them like you could almost throw a stone to where you found
Of the
them.
valley. This is the Valley of Hinnom,
Yeah.
and I named the site, which is on the other side of the valley, just opposite us.
It's amazing that you found it just over there. We bumped into you. Now, you said earlier that this is, a really important discovery, no matter who made it. How important is it?
The significance is that we had this text already crystallized in a time which is 2,600 years ago.
Yeah.
This is something which is amazing. This is against the view of some biblical scholars who say that the Pentateuch text was composed somewhere in Second Temple period. So we have here First Temple period remains, and that is beyond any doubt. We have here two objects bearing the priestly benediction. Those were objects which were worn upon the body of people.
That was my next question.
They, I think they were the forerunners of the later phylacteries. People wore on their wrist, on their neck, upon their heart, upon their upper arm. They wore all kinds of objects which were written with sacred verses in order to have a blessing.
But when you found out that it was that, we say in English, the Aaronic benediction or the priestly blessing, I mean, what was that like to know of all the texts that it could have been? It was that beautiful portion of the Torah.
For me, it was something of great significance because I was born in a time and place that nobody should be born during Second World War in Central Europe. And I still remember from my early childhood the words with which my late father blessed me, and these are the same words. These are the same words, and I remember them in Hebrew, and I think these were the first Hebrew words which I could memorize.
Wow. What a gift.
It's closing a circle for me personally as well.
Gabi, thank you so much, man, for taking time, for
You're
sharing.
most welcome.
I appreciate it.
Blessed
God bless
be.
you. Thank you. Amen.
Bless thee and keep thee.
Coming up, Karen visits Claude Ezagouri of Morning Star, and I get the VIP treatment from Israeli counter-terrorist soldiers.
For 2,000 years, man has been studying the life and words of Jesus. But in our modern culture, can we truly understand what he really meant? Now we can. Joe Amaril's book, Understanding Jesus, removes the veil of history and brings us greater understanding of the time and culture that Jesus and the authors of the Bible lived in. In Understanding Jesus, we study the feasts of the Lord as Jesus celebrated them and find valuable insight into God's prophetic timetable throughout history. Knowing more about this ancient culture will give you accurate insight into the teachings of Jesus and will take your faith to a whole new level. And this life-changing book can be yours for just $20. Call today and order your copy of Understanding Jesus by Joe Amaral, 1-877-628-2800, or visit us online at www.firstcenturyfoundations.com.
We're here in Tiberias today, and we're meeting with Claude Ezagouri from Morning Star Fellowship and learning more about how his ministry got started and where it's going.
The vision that the Lord gave us is to really give a Jewish message. You know, the people in Tiberias, I mean, all over Israel, the Jews generally think of Jesus as being a Christian Messiah, a Gentile Messiah, that Jesus has nothing to do with the Jews. And we want to remind them that Jesus not only was Jewish, but he still is Jewish, and even when he comes back, he is still the as he is called, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, which is a Jewish tribe, and our message is a Jewish message. While ministering where Jesus ministered 2,000 years ago, is very special because we want to bring the message that it's not history. It's not just history. I mean, it was history, but Yeshua is alive today in this place, and we want to prove it. We want to give some evidences of his presence. Well, right now, the main prayers that we need is for some permits that we need. So please pray and do not lose hope. We really received a lot of confirmation that this is from the Lord. We are on the right itinerary, and we will see the fulfillment of the vision. We will see, and we start already to see a lot of people coming to the Lord and knowing their Savior. So we are encouraged, and we ask you to keep praying for us and supporting us. We will keep you posted, and we're praising the Lord for everything that He's doing.
Well, it was wonderful hearing from Claude Ezagouri today, and I hope that you were able to catch some of his vision of what God is doing here in Tiberias. And if you would like to get involved, if you would like to learn more about what God is doing here in the land, be in touch with us by our website, by calling our office. Get the Israel Prayer Watch. You can receive it every 2 months and learn more about the ministries, learn what God is doing here, but also learn about their prayer requests and what their needs are. And I know Claude would appreciate your support and your prayer support as well.
To make a donation or learn more about this ministry and the Israel Prayer Watch, visit us online at www.firstcenturyfoundations.com or call 1-877-628-2800.
In order to really understand what the Torah means to aim, I decided to visit the counterterrorism base Caliber 3.
And I have the privilege of apparently being with a legend here, with Shai, who's going to instruct me and turn me into a warrior, right?
In a short time, yeah.
In a short time. So tell us a little bit about the school. Why do you exist?
Okay, so first of all, Gush Etzion is a region south to Jerusalem. This is a very questionable region, meaning two people claim for the right to be here.
Okay.
We will always be here if it's up to us.
Okay.
Our problem is that we are right, but they're right as well.
Okay.
Meaning because of that, there is no consent.
Right.
We don't shoot at Palestinians.
I understand.
We shoot at someone which, if we don't, he kills others.
Right.
Okay, so this is counterterrorism.
Makes sense.
Now, counterterrorism differs from any other military method. The terrorist, he has an automatic weapon. And once he initiates the first shots, from the first bullet till the number 30, 2.8 seconds.
So 30 bullets, 2.8
In
seconds.
2.8 seconds, the M16. Meaning every split of a second you delay in stopping him, more people get hurt.
That's right. Why?
This is why the counter-terrorist combat must be best of them all.
The terror attack can occur every place.
That's right.
In a school, God forbid, on a train station, on a bus,
On a shopping
on
mall.
a plane, on a shopping mall.
Everywhere.
So you always have doors, you always have covers.
So
and
you-
you have to know how to respond in such a situation. And what we'll simulate over here is that you are going to be protected by Shai.
Okay.
This is kind of a surprise drill to us because we're going to rush in and we're going to work very, very fast.
I don't know what to expect.
You can
I'm a little scared, but I'm excited too.
enemy.
okay. That was intense.
So, as I said before, we're really selective, even though we shoot fast and we're very aggressive in order to save people. You could see that
Whoa, look at that.
this is a bad one. Why so?
Missed.
But why is it so bad? Because it's in a crowded area, meaning this bullet
Could have killed
could have
somebody.
hit somebody else. We want the bullets to stop in him.
Right, right.
So the small bullet is from the assault gun.
Okay.
The big are from the handgun. The big are mine.
Ah, okay.
I had 10 of them, and you can see the whole 10.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though we were quite under pressure. Now, if I couldn't hit him, or I didn't have to, I will never spread. It's not American point of view of acceptable price, no. You cannot be called for an incident as a special force or not and respond and kill or hit the bad guy along with others. No.
No.
No, you're going to
That's
stand.
not the Israeli way.
No, you're going to
That's
stand for
important to
trial.
say. It's important.
You're going to stand for
And
trial.
you'll stand for trial. That's
You're
very
going
important.
to stand for
There's
trial
consequences.
for using a force that you are not being able to control.
Okay.
Before Shai would let me shoot, I had to learn hand-to-hand combat. How to swing a gun around, the proper position for holding and shooting a handgun, and I even had to figure out which eye I would be shooting with. After all that, I finally got to shoot a real gun.
Stand straight. Stand straight. Straight. Ready? Go. Good.
Yeah, you hit the sign.
Of course you did. In order to save lives, we train here Americans, Canadians, forces and security, Russians, Turks, from all of, and we go and train them there because we believe that what they do is saving lives. Because these are the people that will save lives a lot before the army does. Okay, so again, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed it, at least as I did.
Thank you so much, man, for showing me all that. Not just for shooting a gun, but for telling me about the Israeli psyche, the mentality and the philosophy of the Israeli army, and the goal of saving lives, not taking lives. So I really, really appreciate that. And I hope you guys enjoy it and stay with us. We'll be right back.
God's Holy Days, the new DVD teaching series by Joe Amaral. Filmed in a conference speaking environment, infused with rich visuals such as photos and realistic video reenactments, this series will take you on an exciting journey of discovery. In God's Holy Days, you'll learn the meaning behind many symbolic parallels that have long been forgotten by the church. Find out why most Western believers have little knowledge of these feasts, and how much there is to gain once we understand them. This 3.5-hour teaching series will show you how Jesus is both concealed and revealed in the feast of the Lord, from Passover through Tabernacles. You'll be amazed as Joe describes in detail how these feasts can still powerfully apply to all believers everywhere. Included with the purchase of this DVD is a 7-week study guide to help you personally apply these many truths. To order your copy, call right now, 1-877-628-2800.
Man, that was so much fun going to that counter-terrorism. I never thought I was going to go to a counter-terrorism, training center, and to be able to go there and fire those guns off was
boys
crazy.
and their toys.
Boys and their toys. You guys didn't see it in this episode because we shot way more footage than we can put into 30 minutes. Go to the backstage pass area of the website and you'll see who else was having fun
yes.
with some guns over there.
I'm sure Daniel would like to do that too, our son.
Yeah, a lot of boys would.
Oh yeah.
It was really cool. Remember when Shai was training me and doing all that kind of stuff?
Well, he talked about shooting and aiming and how when you're just that little bit off, it can really harm somebody. And
kill somebody. He
Yeah,
was talking about
yeah.
how you have to hit it right in the center, and if you
Yeah.
miss, you could do a lot of damage.
Right.
And you know, in producing the show, we got thinking about that with sin in our own lives. A lot of times, you know, we think that our actions are affecting people around us. Ah, it's
Right.
my life, I can do whatever I want. But you know, when we're missing the mark,
Yeah.
right? Yada, the root of the word for Torah is hitting the mark, and when we miss it, you know, we affect people.
Yeah.
You know, we may not physically kill them, but spiritually, emotionally, you know, psychologically, we can really hurt them with our words. And you know, and again, talking about the Torah, going to that museum with Rabbi Ken and walking through the tombs and finding the oldest portion of the Torah, it was fantastic.
That was super special. I think it's so neat that they used to wear that. It's probably the
Oh, yeah.
earliest version of the tefillin, where they wore it on their arms. They wore it on their bodies because they wanted to keep the word of God close to themselves.
Close to their hearts.
Yeah.
And then looking and seeing, you know, the ruins and finding those arrowheads. You know, we have like actual evidence, I mean,
Yeah.
of a Bible story, the physical destruction by the Babylonians of Jerusalem. I mean, it was just one of those incredible experiences. And then going to the museum and seeing them there in the flesh, it was absolutely remarkable.
And it's so neat to see what God was doing in the past, but it was also so neat to see what God is doing in the present. And
Yeah.
visiting the ministry today was just wonderful, and being able to see how they're reaching their community for the Lord, how they're reaching out and touching people and helping them, and how they're making a difference. And I know that there are a lot of our viewers who would also like to make a difference, and they can make a difference by visiting our website, learning more about the ministries, praying for them. We have a
Giving.
we have a publication that we put out every 2 months.
Yeah, the Israel Prayer Watch.
Yeah, and that can help you just pray a minute a day for a ministry in Israel.
Yeah.
There are over 70 ministries that we work
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
and we support with our finances, with our prayer, and with helps. And if you would like to learn more about that, contact us through calling our office, visiting our website.
Yeah.
You can learn more about clicking on our ministries page. And
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and as much fun as I know you're having watching the show, and as much fun as it is, you know, making the show, there is nothing. Can you guys see this background? I mean, that's Jerusalem, you know, the city that's mentioned 700 times plus in the Bible. Taping here is one thing, watching it is another, but being here, I mean, taking your feet and planting them on this ground and walking it, guys, we want you here with us. We want you to come and have the trip and the journey of a lifetime. You know, the Ministry of Tourism, they have a catchphrase. They say, "You'll never be the same again."
it's true.
You know, it's not a cheesy slogan. It's an actual thing that will happen to you. And Karen and I would love to invite you to join us on a tour. So go to the website, the info is there. Find out when we're coming next. Guys, next week we have another incredible show.
Amazing.
Please make sure you watch again next week. Shalom from Jerusalem. We'll see you next time. Now, would you be comfortable with actually lying down so
No
the viewers
problem
can
at all.
see what two dead bodies would look like?
No problem.
You know,
at
the
all.
view is really nice from here.
Yeah, well, actually, remember, if you were in here when it was a burial, it was a cave. There was a roof above you. You didn't have the.
Oh, that's true.
The sunroof was probably an optional feature, but I don't believe.
Yeah, I wouldn't
that-
spray for a
yeah, yeah.
sunroof.